Imagine a world bathed in the soft, amber light of an ancient sun, where vast oceans ripple with a quiet rhythm and primeval forests stretch endlessly beneath skies that seem larger, higher, and infinitely more alive than those we know today. This is the Mesozoic Era, time when continents drifted slowly like drifting islands of possibility, and the earth breathed with a different kind of pulse. In the distance, the faint echoes of creatures long vanished ripple across the landscape. The first hints of dinosaurs stir amidst ferns and cycads, their movements graceful and deliberate, a dance choreographed by millions of years of evolution. What did the earth feel like when these giants roamed? Was the air heavier with the scent of untamed wilderness? Or did the oceans whisper secrets of creatures unseen beneath the waves? As we settle into this exploration, we enter not just a period of deep time, but a contemplation of life itself, its rhythms, its fragility, its astonishing persistence. In this documentary, we will wander through the landscapes of the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. We will pause to observe the delicate interplay of life and environment, imagining the hidden stories in each shadow, each movement, each ripple of water. We will reflect on patterns that stretch far beyond human memory, tracing the cycles of emergence, dominance, and extinction that define life on this planet. Our journey is not merely about the creatures that walked or swam millions of years ago. It is about perspective, seeing the earth through the lens of time itself, understanding the forces that shaped it, and perhaps glimpsing the echoes of our own choices in the tapestry of life. As we move through this ancient world, allow your thoughts to drift slowly, to wonder, and to rest in the gentle unfolding of deep history. As we gaze across the sweeping vistas of deep time, we begin to notice the patterns that persist not only in nature but in the civilizations that emerge, flourish, and inevitably fade. Civilizations, much like forests or coral reefs, have lifespans: a beginning, a peak, and a slow decline, marked by traces they leave behind. Just as the Mesozoic Earth held its flourishing ecosystems, only to see them vanish under the relentless march of time, human societies, too, rise and fall, leaving behind fragments, memories, and silent monuments. Consider the cities of antiquity, now buried beneath layers of earth or swallowed by the passage of centuries. Their stories are told not in grand epics alone, but in the subtle imprints on the land, the patterns of trade, agriculture, and human interaction that echo faintly through archaeology. Even as empires crumble, knowledge can persist in whispered traditions, in records painstakingly copied, in cultural echoes that ripple forward. And yet, compared to the sweep of geological time, even the greatest human achievements are fleeting, a brief flicker in the vast timeline of Earth's history. What does it mean to leave a legacy? Is it the monuments we erect, the stories we tell, or the impact of our actions on the living world around us? In the Mesozoic, entire ecosystems vanished only to give rise to new forms of life. Extinctions were not ends, but transitions, reminders that permanence is an illusion, that even the most dominant species eventually yield to the rhythm of life. In contemplating civilizations, we find a mirror of this natural impermanence. Societies rise through ingenuity, cooperation, and adaptation, yet they remain subject to forces larger than themselves: climate, resources, internal complexity, and chance. Paleontology teaches us the beauty and fragility of these patterns. Fossilized forests, buried under volcanic ash or sediment, tell stories of species that thrived, adapted, and then disappeared. Entire ecosystems once alive with movement and sound now speak only through impressions left in stony. In much the same way, the rise and fall of human societies leaves impressions, cultural, environmental, and technological, waiting for future observers to interpret. Reflecting on civilizations in this context invites a humbling perspective. It reminds us that no empire, no technological marvel, no cultural peak can escape the passage of time. And yet, this fleeting nature does not diminish meaning. Rather, it highlights the delicate beauty of creation, effort, and influence. Each action, each invention, each system we build adds a thread to the intricate tapestry of existence. Whether it lasts centuries or merely decades, the Mesozoic shows us that life's complexity persists even amid cycles of rise and decline. So too, civilizations, when viewed from a lens of deep time, are both ephemeral and enduring. Ephemeral in their physical presence, enduring in the ways they influence the trajectory of life, thought, and culture. In this contemplative space, we begin to understand not only the fragility of human constructs, but also the profound responsibility inherent in shaping the world we inhabit here. In this quiet reflection, we see civilizations as living patterns, intertwined with the natural rhythms of the planet, temporal, resilient, and echoing forward into the future in ways both subtle and profound. As we linger on the idea of civilizations and their impermanence, it becomes fascinating to consider the distinction between raw intelligence and the organized structures we call civilization. Intelligence, in its purest form, is the capacity to perceive, to reason, to adapt, and to anticipate. Civilization, on the other hand, is intelligence made collective, manifested in cooperation, in shared knowledge, in long-term projects that span generations. They are intertwined, yet not inseparable. One can exist without the other. Look to the natural world for examples. Dolphins, corvids, and elephants demonstrate profound intelligence. They solve problems, communicate in complex ways, and even display empathy. Yet, they do not create the sprawling, intricate networks of cities, laws, or written languages that characterize human civilization. Intelligence alone does not automatically yield monuments or history, just as civilization without critical thought can stagnate and collapse. Now, imagine a Mesozoic Earth teeming with creatures of immense variety. Could some of them have developed forms of social intelligence? Might some species have planned, communicated, or cooperated in ways that hint at early civilizations, yet left behind no trace we can easily recognize? Perhaps the complex herd behaviors of sauropods, the hunting strategies of dromaeosaurs, or the intricate nesting of certain theropods reveal early glimpses of organized thought and planning patterns that echo faintly in the fossil record. It is a gentle reminder that intelligence is not a monopoly of humans, and that civilization is not the only measure of sophisticated life. Consider a thought experiment. Imagine a species whose intellectual abilities rivaled our own, but whose societal structures were entirely different. Perhaps they valued subtlety over permanence, cooperation over monuments, and left no towering cities, no written records. In the geological archive, their intelligence might appear invisible, and yet, in the ways they shaped ecosystems, altered landscapes, and interacted with other species, their legacy might endure silently, detectable only to the patient observer of deep time. This distinction invites reflection on our own trajectory. Civilization amplifies intelligence by making it collective, yet it also imposes constraints. Decisions, hierarchies, cultural norms, and technologies shape how intelligence is expressed and preserved. Conversely, intelligence without civilization is ephemeral, intimate, immediate, and flexible. Both are remarkable, both are fragile, and both carry consequences that ripple outward in ways we may not fully perceive. By pondering intelligence separate from civilization, we can also examine our responsibilities. How much of our collective genius truly serves life on Earth? How much is devoted to fleeting ambition, to structures that will crumble, or to knowledge that may be lost in a few centuries? The interplay between intelligence and civilization reminds us that power, awareness, and creativity are tools that can nurture the planet or imperil it. In the quiet reflection of this thought, we find awe. Intelligence is a gift that, when harnessed within civilizations, can create wonders beyond imagination, but it also bears the weight of stewardship. The Mesozoic world teaches us that life thrives, adapts, and persists long after individual species fade. As stewards of our own civilization, we are invited to consider not just what we achieve, but how we achieve it, and whether our intelligence is shaping a legacy worthy of deep time. To truly grasp the scale of the Mesozoic, we must step beyond human time and immerse ourselves in deep time, an expanse of millions, even hundreds of millions of years. Our lives, brief as they are but a single heartbeat in the vast rhythm of Earth's history. The Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods unfolded over spans so immense that mountains rose and fell, oceans shifted, and continents drifted as if in a slow, deliberate dance. It is humbling, and yet profoundly beautiful, to imagine the Earth moving in these grand cycles, indifferent to our fleeting presence, yet providing the stage upon which life evolves, flourishes, and sometimes disappears. The Triassic dawned after the Permian mass extinction, a time when life clawed back from near annihilation. Imagine barren landscapes gradually giving way to the first whispers of forests, the tentative steps of early reptiles, the fragile beginnings of ecosystems. The air was warm, the seas teeming with nascent life, yet the balance was delicate. Evolution, as always, is both patient and relentless. Species adapted, experimented, and occasionally vanished, leaving fossils as cryptic reminders of what once was. By the Jurassic, life had diversified astonishingly. Towering conifers shaded the landscape, ferns carpeted the ground, and massive dinosaurs wandered across continents now drifting apart. Carnivores hunted, herbivores grazed, and intricate food webs wove the fabric of existence. Imagine the soundscape. The rumble of footsteps, the distant calls of creatures long extinct, the wind whispering through vast forests. The world was alive in ways both familiar and utterly alien, a testament to evolution's tireless creativity. The Cretaceous brought new forms, from the astonishing diversity of flowering plants to the apex predators that dominated terrestrial realms. Life cycles continued, periods of abundance, followed by stress, climatic shifts, and the constant push-pull of competition. Mass extinctions punctuated these periods, reminding us that dominance is never permanent. Species rose, flourished, and then faded, leaving traces in stone, in imprints, in the chemical signatures of oceans and soils. These patterns are the echoes of evolutionary cycles, stretching beyond the reach of human memory. Yet in contemplating these cycles, we can also reflect philosophically. Life's resilience is profound, but it is not infinite. Patterns repeat, expansion, adaptation, limitation, collapse, and through these cycles, Earth experiments, learns, and renews itself. Civilizations, whether hypothetical pre-human ones or our own, exist only briefly against the backdrop of these vast temporal rhythms. Our monuments, our cities, even our species may be fleeting in comparison, yet we are uniquely aware of the cycles themselves. We can look back, understand the processes, and foresee patterns that may unfold millions of years hence. Visualize the interplay of life and time. Continents drift, seas rise and fall, ecosystems transform, volcanoes erupt, glaciers carve valleys, and meteorites strike without warning. Each event nudges evolution in a slightly different direction, shaping species, reshaping landscapes, and leaving indelible marks on the geological record. And yet, there is an elegance in this unpredictability, a meditation on impermanence that encourages reflection rather than despair. In this contemplation of deep time, we also begin to understand the fragility and preciousness of the present. Though we are but a brief moment in Earth's timeline, our awareness allows us to perceive patterns that no other species could see. We can imagine the long arcs of evolutionary cycles, ponder the rise and fall of ecosystems, and appreciate the extraordinary persistence of life itself. Deep time is a mirror. It reflects both the ephemeral nature of individual existence and the enduring pulse of life, guiding us toward humility, wonder, and a sense of connection to the vast narrative of the planet. As we dwell within the vast expanse of deep time, a quiet question emerges. What if intelligence had arisen before humans? What if, long before the first hominins walked the earth, another form of sentience had flourished, experimented with its world, and then faded into obscurity? This is not a question meant to unsettle, but to expand our imagination and gently stir curiosity. The Mesozoic, with its enormous landscapes and diverse ecosystems, may have been home to forms of life that possessed a kind of intelligence entirely alien to us, shaped by different senses, instincts, and rhythms of life. Imagine creatures, perhaps not resembling mammals or birds, navigating the forests and plains with intricate social structures. Could they have developed communication systems, passing knowledge through generations? Could they have manipulated the environment, subtly building, shaping, or experimenting with materials in ways that leave only the faintest traces behind? Fossils, after all, capture only fragments of life. Soft tissues, fleeting behaviors, and cultural patterns dissolve into time, leaving us with tantalizing hints rather than a full picture. We can allow ourselves to speculate. A species of dinosaur or early reptile, intelligent in ways we cannot fully comprehend, might have recognized patterns in the stars, learned the cycles of plants and prey, and formed the foundations of a civilization uniquely adapted to its environment. Perhaps their cities were ephemeral, constructed of materials that weathered and vanished long before our eyes could trace them. Perhaps their knowledge was encoded in ways we have yet to uncover, in chemical signals, in nests, in migratory paths. The evidence, if it ever existed, would be subtle, easily mistaken, or entirely erased by the slow, unyielding processes of geology. Yet this speculation is not mere fantasy. It invites philosophical reflection. If intelligence can arise more than once, then it is not a singular gift, but a recurring possibility within the universe. If civilizations can rise and fall without leaving obvious traces, then our understanding of what it means to exist or leave a mark expands. We are challenged to think beyond monuments and artifacts, considering the intangible legacies of knowledge, adaptation, and influence that might persist quietly, hidden within the world. Contemplating pre-human civilizations also sheds light on our present moment. By imagining intelligence before us, we see the rarity and fragility of awareness, the delicate convergence of environment, evolution, and circumstance that makes civilization possible. We recognize that the Earth has always been a stage for experimentation, for the dance of life in its myriad forms, some remembered, some lost. There is humility in this recognition, a gentle reminder that what survives in memory may be only a fraction of what once existed. Let us wander further in thought. Could subtle traces of these hypothetical civilizations linger in the fossil record, or in the chemistry of sediments? Might patterns in ancient forests, the arrangement of rocks, or even the strange behaviors of surviving lineages hint at the presence of intelligence that left no grand monuments? These are questions that blend science, imagination, and philosophy. They encourage us to consider that the history of the Earth is richer and more layered than our eyes alone can perceive. And yet, even in imagining civilizations that have vanished, we return to the contemplative calm of the present. The Earth's long narrative allows us to situate ourselves within it, to appreciate the preciousness of awareness, and the opportunity to leave marks that may endure, not only in stone or artifact, but in knowledge, understanding, and the careful stewardship of life itself. In the vastness of time, our existence becomes a meditation, brief, fragile, but capable of remarkable awareness. By exploring these speculative pre-human civilizations, we learn not just about possibilities that preceded us, but also about the responsibilities inherent in our intelligence. We grasp the importance of mindfulness, curiosity, and care as we navigate the delicate balance between ambition and preservation. The Earth is both a witness and a participant in the unfolding story of life, and in considering civilizations lost to time, we gain perspective on our place within this grand continuum. As our thoughts drift from the ancient past toward the present, we begin to see the Earth not only as a stage for life, but as a fragile, responsive system. The Mesozoic world, with its vast oceans, towering forests, and thriving ecosystems, teaches us about balance and interconnection. Every species, every river, and every shifting continent played a role in shaping the environment. Today, we are part of that continuum, but in ways both subtle and immense. We have become agents of change on a scale no previous life form could have imagined. Consider the atmosphere above us. Its delicate composition of gases, balanced over eons, sustains life as we know it. Yet our activities, industry, agriculture, energy consumption alter this balance, sending ripples through climate, ecosystems, and weather patterns. The Mesozoic Earth endured periods of dramatic change, but those shifts unfolded slowly, giving life time to adapt. Our influence, by contrast, accelerates processes, sometimes outpacing the natural resilience of ecosystems. And while this reality might seem daunting, it also brings awareness, a rare opportunity to understand the consequences of our actions in real time. Our responsibility is not merely to survive, but to consider the impact of each choice. Every decision, from the way we cultivate land to the energy we consume, echoes across the planet. It may influence biodiversity, soil fertility, water cycles, and atmospheric stability. These are not abstract ideas, they are immediate realities, shaping the world our children and grandchildren will inherit. To act mindfully is to participate consciously in a process that has been ongoing for millions of years. To acknowledge that our species, though fleeting in deep time, has the capacity to alter the trajectory of life itself. Reflecting on environmental impact also invites contemplation of legacy. What do we wish to leave behind, not in monuments, but in the subtle layers of the Earth? What knowledge, what ecosystems, what traces of thoughtful stewardship will persist long after our presence fades? Civilizations of the past have risen and fallen, often leaving only fragments. Yet these remnants still carry lessons, whispers of adaptation and caution, reminders of the delicate dance between ambition and survival. In our era, we have the chance to extend that wisdom, to act with foresight and care. Let us also recognize the interconnection between our actions and the resilience of life. The extinction events that punctuated Earth's history demonstrate both the fragility and the tenacity of ecosystems. Life endures, but not always in the forms we expect. By understanding these patterns, we can approach our influence with humility. The goal is not perfection, nor control over every outcome, but awareness and deliberate choice, and acknowledgement that our intelligence grants us both power and responsibility. Through contemplation, we realize that environmental stewardship is not a burden, but an invitation to see ourselves not as separate from the earth, but as participants in an ongoing story. Every mindful choice, every conservation effort, every step toward understanding how our actions propagate through the biosphere becomes a meditation, a contribution to the enduring narrative of life. In this calm reflection, we perceive that responsibility is intertwined with possibility. We are capable of amplifying damage, but also of fostering recovery. We can leave behind scars or legacies of resilience. And though the Mesozoic Era reminds us of life's immense temporal scale, it also teaches us that even small, thoughtful interventions can reverberate across centuries. The present moment, with its extraordinary knowledge and tools, becomes a space for reflection, decision, and care. Our impact is immense, yet not predetermined. In acknowledging both the power and fragility of our presence, we cultivate a sense of balance and awareness that encourages restraint, imagination, and hope. By observing the earth with both attention and reverence, we position ourselves as mindful stewards, conscious of the delicate equilibrium we inhabit and capable of shaping the narrative of life in ways that honor the complexity and beauty of our planet. As we linger in the awareness of our environmental impact, our attention naturally shifts to the unique moment in which we exist. There has never been a time quite like this, nor may there be again. Humanity, perched on a singular point in deep time, possesses the awareness and tools to observe not only the world around us, but also the effects of our own actions. This is a rare vantage and intersection of knowledge, choice, and responsibility that offers both power and reflection. Consider the present as a layer where the deep past and the far future converge. Beneath our feet, the earth holds memories of oceans that have risen and fallen, of forests that have grown and vanished, of species that have thrived and disappeared. Above us, the sky carries the weight of millennia of atmospheric balance, and within this context, we act. Every gesture, every innovation, every decision ripples outward, shaping the contours of ecosystems, societies, and technologies. The present moment is not merely fleeting, it is potent, a stage upon which influence and awareness meet. What does it mean to act consciously in such a moment? It begins with recognition that our lives are intertwined with the planet and with each other. It extends to the choices we make, small or large, that accumulate into patterns of consequence. How we use energy, how we cultivate land, how we organize our societies all contribute to the trajectory of the world. And yet, even as we influence the present, uncertainty remains. Not every consequence can be foreseen, not every outcome controlled. There is a delicate balance between action and unpredictability, between intervention and humility. Philosophically, this is the essence of agency, the understanding that, while we are temporary, we possess the capacity to influence enduring systems. Our awareness allows us to shape knowledge, culture, and environment in ways that echo beyond immediate perception. We may not see the full impact of our choices, but history, both recorded and hidden in geological layers, will. This invites contemplation. What legacy will we leave, not only in monuments or technologies, but in the subtle imprints of mindfulness, stewardship, and care? Imagine standing on a quiet hillside, observing the earth's rhythms as they unfold, the wind sculpting clouds, rivers carving valleys, forests stretching toward the sun. Within this serene panorama, recognize that every human action participates in the same rhythm. To act with awareness is to move in harmony with the flows of life, to shape the present intentionally while respecting its interconnectedness. It is a moment to pause and consider, how might our choices today influence the shape of knowledge, the preservation of life, and the patterns that endure into centuries and millennia? Agency is also a call to imagination. Through the lens of reflection, we can foresee possibilities, systems improved, ecosystems nurtured, societies enriched. The present is a canvas, and the brushstrokes we apply, whether deliberate or careless, will contribute to the portrait of the future. It is here, in this awareness, that hope and responsibility converge. The Mesozoic world reminds us of the fragility and resilience of life, and our presence now offers a chance to act with foresight, to intervene with wisdom, to leave a mark that honors the continuity of existence. To inhabit the present fully is to embrace both limitation and potential. Our vision is constrained. We cannot perceive every outcome, nor anticipate every change, but our consciousness allows us to navigate uncertainty with care. In this awareness lies a quiet power, a subtle form of mastery, not over the world, but over intention, choice, and reflection. Every thoughtful action, every measured decision, every mindful moment contributes to the narrative of life, intertwining the ephemeral human experience with the enduring story of the planet. Thus, the present becomes more than a fleeting interval between past and future. It is an active, conscious space where influence, reflection, and responsibility converge. By recognizing our agency, we may choose paths that foster resilience, cultivate knowledge, and honor the intricate web of life that has persisted for hundreds of millions of years. Here, in this fragile and luminous moment, we stand as observers, participants, and guardians, aware of our temporary existence, yet empowered to shape enduring patterns that echo into the unfolding future. As we turn our gaze forward, beyond the horizon of human lifetimes, we enter a space of both wonder and contemplation, a realm where imagination meets the possibilities of deep time. What might Earth look like in 1,000,000, 10,000,000, or even 100,000,000 years? How will the ecosystems we know today evolve, adapt, or vanish? And if intelligence rises again, what forms might it take, and what legacies will we have left behind for those future minds to observe? Imagine the planet in a distant future, its continents slowly drifting to new configurations, mountains rising and eroding, oceans retreating and expanding. In this vast, slow-motion theater of geological change, life persists in forms both familiar and alien. Creatures we cannot yet conceive may roam the forests, glide through skies that have shifted color and composition, or inhabit oceans whose chemistry has evolved over countless cycles. In this grand expanse of time, we can explore thought experiments. Could evolution favor intelligence again? Could new civilizations emerge, building their own complex societies, shaped by forces both familiar and entirely novel? Consider how our actions today set the stage for these distant possibilities. The way we manage our resources, preserve ecosystems, and steward knowledge creates ripples that extend far beyond our immediate perception. Every choice made in the present becomes part of a temporal mosaic, contributing to the conditions that will either nurture or hinder the emergence of life and intelligence in the future. What stories will our descendants or the species that follow tell about the Earth we leave behind? Will our imprint be a cautionary tale, a record of missed opportunities, or a foundation for renewal? Speculation allows us to engage with these questions without certainty, to explore what might be rather than what must be. Imagine cities reclaimed by nature, structures slowly overtaken by vegetation, rivers carving new paths through landscapes once dominated by human intervention. Picture a sky filled with unfamiliar constellations, mapped by civilizations that rise and fall long after ours has faded. The interplay between natural forces and intelligent action offers a rich field of reflection, showing us that the future is neither predetermined nor static. Through this lens, we can also consider sustainability on a scale previously unimaginable. Civilizations, if they rise again, will confront challenges that echo those of the past: energy demands, environmental constraints, social complexity. Yet they may also possess tools we cannot yet foresee, adapting in ways that extend their endurance or harmony with the planet. What lessons might they learn from the traces we leave behind? Could they interpret the subtle signals in geology, in preserved knowledge, in genetic echoes, and reconstruct the story of our era? Our imagination is a bridge across time. By envisioning possible futures, we engage in a quiet act of stewardship. The scenarios we contemplate collapse, renewal, transformation are mirrors of our present choices. They encourage mindfulness, patience, and humility, reminding us that even small actions today may influence events far beyond our perception. What might seem trivial in the immediacy of daily life, the care we take in managing resources, the knowledge we choose to preserve, can become a vital seed for resilience millions of years from now. The speculative future also invites philosophical reflection. Will intelligence always be linked to civilization? Might new forms of awareness arise in ways entirely unrecognizable to us? Could the Earth itself, resilient and adaptive, foster cycles of life and cognition that transcend our current understanding? By contemplating these questions, we honor the continuity of life, recognizing that our species is but a fleeting chapter in a story that stretches across eons. Ultimately, the act of speculation is an invitation to humility and wonder. It reminds us that while we can influence the present, the ultimate trajectory of life on Earth is shaped by forces far beyond our control. And yet, within this tension lies the beauty of possibility, a recognition that intelligence, creativity, and care, exercised consciously in the present, can leave subtle patterns that echo into the unimaginable futures to come. As we drift through these contemplations, the future ceases to be a distant abstraction. It becomes a landscape we can explore with curiosity, reverence, and calm reflection. And in imagining these distant worlds, we return to the present with renewed awareness, aware of our fleeting time, aware of our agency, and aware that every action, every thought, every choice contributes to the story of life, continuing the dialogue between past, present, and future. As we reflect on the vastness of time, it becomes clear that the past, present, and future are not separate, isolated moments, but threads woven into a continuous tapestry. The echoes of life from the Mesozoic, the rise and fall of countless species, the slow drift of continents, and the shifting of climates all converge in the world we inhabit today. By understanding these patterns, we gain insight not only into what has been but into what might still come to be. Consider how the ancient ecosystems of the Mesozoic were shaped by cycles of creation and destruction, of dominance and decline. Forests flourished, oceans teemed with life, and creatures adapted in ways that allowed them to thrive or ultimately vanish. These processes were neither random nor haphazard. They followed rhythms, patterns, and pressures that shaped the trajectory of life on Earth. In the present, we are the inheritors of these rhythms, standing on a planet sculpted by millions of years of adaptation, evolution, and natural selection. Each layer of sediment, each fossilized imprint, carries stories of past lives and lessons of resilience. Yet the connection is not merely scientific, it is philosophical. The knowledge of deep time offers perspective on the transience of human endeavors and the impermanence of civilizations. Just as species rise and fall, so too do societies and technologies. We can glimpse, in the fossilized remnants of ancient worlds, reflections of our own impermanence. And in doing so, we are prompted to ask, what traces will our civilization leave behind? How will future observers, human or otherwise, interpret the choices we make, the systems we build, and the environments we transform? Our actions in the present are therefore both fleeting and enduring. They exist in the immediacy of daily life, yet they also ripple forward, shaping the conditions for future life on Earth. Conservation of knowledge, care for ecosystems, and mindful stewardship of resources are all acts that bridge the present with the distant future. They ensure that the story of life continues with threads of continuity, rather than ruptures of loss. In this sense, our era becomes a pivotal moment, a point where awareness and action can influence patterns that extend far beyond our lifetimes. The dialogue between past and present also informs our understanding of possibility. By studying evolution, mass extinctions, and ancient adaptations, we recognize that life is both resilient and fragile. Civilizations, intelligent species, and ecosystems all exist within complex networks of cause and effect, feedback loops, and unforeseen consequences. The present is the living intersection of these networks, where the legacy of the past meets the opportunity of the future. What we learn from fossilized landscapes, ancient climates, and vanished species shapes the way we think, act, and plan. In contemplating the future, we can imagine cycles repeating once more, new intelligences emerging, and ecosystems evolving in ways that echo patterns from the past. Yet these possibilities are not predetermined, they are responsive to the choices made now. The connection between past, present, and future is therefore dynamic, a continuous conversation. We are participants in this conversation, and each decision, each act of care or neglect contributes to the ongoing narrative of life. As we consider these cycles, there is also a sense of profound humility. We are one chapter in an immense story, yet we are conscious participants, capable of reflection, foresight, and imagination. This awareness is a rare privilege in the history of life on Earth. It allows us to perceive connections invisible to most other species, the rise and fall of ecosystems, the impact of climate, the subtle shifts in the chemistry of oceans, and the trajectory of life over millions of years. In this awareness lies responsibility, and in that responsibility lies the power to influence the continuity of life. The past teaches us patience, resilience, and the consequences of action. The present grants us the agency to act deliberately and thoughtfully. The future invites us to imagine, hope, and speculate. When we hold these perspectives together, the world becomes both intimate and vast, immediate and eternal. We begin to see that our choices, however small they may seem, are part of a larger pattern, and in this pattern, life continues, carrying forward the knowledge, adaptations, and stories that we inherit and create. Ultimately, The connection between past, present, and future reminds us that life is a dialogue across time. We are both students and contributors, observers and participants, witnesses to cycles and architects of possibility. By embracing this perspective, we cultivate a contemplative awareness, a quiet understanding that every thought, every action, and every decision matters in the unfolding story of Earth and its living tapestry. As we draw our journey through time to a close, it is worth pausing to reflect on the quiet majesty of the world we have traversed. From the verdant landscapes of the Mesozoic to the delicate rhythms of life in the present, from the imagination of possible pre-human civilizations to the speculative paths of the distant future, we have walked alongside time itself. In doing so, we come to recognize not only the immensity of the Earth's history, but also our place within it, a brief, conscious, yet impactful moment in a story far larger than ourselves. There is wonder in acknowledging the transient yet enduring nature of life. Civilizations rise and fall, species flourish and vanish, oceans expand and recede, continents drift and climates shift. Yet through these cycles, life persists, adapts, and continues to find expression. In this persistence lies hope and an understanding. There is humility. We are reminded that our actions, both great and small, are threads in a tapestry woven over eons. Each choice we make contributes to the shape of the future, leaving traces sometimes subtle, sometimes profound, that will ripple through time long after we are gone. As we reflect on the present, we recognize the unique opportunity we hold. Awareness grants us agency. The knowledge of deep time allows us to see the consequences of our actions before they unfold fully. We can tend to the Earth with care, safeguard the delicate balance of ecosystems, and preserve the lessons of history. We can leave a legacy not just of structures and monuments, but of wisdom, stewardship, and thoughtfulness, a testament to intelligence mindful of its place within a larger continuum. Yet, the conclusion of this journey is not an ending, but an invitation. It invites contemplation, curiosity, and reflection. It invites each of us to carry the quiet lessons of time into our daily lives, to observe the natural world with attentiveness, to consider the weight of our choices, and to nurture the connections between past, present, and future. The story of the Earth is still unfolding, and we are both witnesses and contributors. By embracing this awareness, we participate in the ongoing rhythm of life, contributing to cycles of renewal, growth, and understanding. Perhaps most importantly, the journey reminds us of the balance between impermanence and influence, between fragility and resilience. Life, in all its forms, is temporary yet enduring. Civilizations may vanish, but the patterns of existence continue, teaching lessons to those who follow. In this duality, we find a quiet comfort. Even in our impermanence, there is significance. And even in vast stretches of time, our presence leaves echoes that may be heard by future generations, human, non-human, or otherwise. So, as you rest and allow your thoughts to drift, carry with you the images of ancient forests, soaring pterosaurs, oceans teeming with life, and landscapes shaped by forces beyond human comprehension. Imagine the civilizations that might have come before, the delicate balance we hold today, and the possibilities that lie ahead. Let curiosity linger, let wonder fill the mind, and let the story of Earth continue to unfold within your dreams. Thank you for journeying through deep time with calm reflection, attentive observation, and quiet imagination. The Earth's story is immense, and in our own gentle way, we are part of it, both transient and enduring, small yet capable of profound influence. May this awareness guide us, inspire us, and remind us to tread with care, curiosity, and humility.